right, welcome to episode 3 of Ripke Studios guest musician feature. My guest musician today, Mr. Andy Bennis, or Andrew Bennis. On your screen it says there.
Very official, formal, yes.
How you doing?
You can call me Andy, I guess. Stan.
Okay, I will do that.
Doing well. I am quarantined down in my torture chamber / basement.
I recognize a lot of those flyers behind you.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a walk down memory lane. As you know, I created a lot of the Back 40 flyers, so I got a bunch of copies, a lot of that stuff.
Well, all the good ones. I made it rushed a couple, but yeah, I like the Darth Vader one back there.
Yep, that's Founders.
Yep.
Folk the Police no longer exists.
Does not. No gigs exist right now.
That's a little crazy.
Yeah. Well, what was the last gig you officially played before the lockdown and stuff?
Man, it's been so long I can hardly remember. I think it was MASH. With Fangs and Twang, we do MASH, which is the basement of the Blue Tractor.
Okay.
The little music scene down there. We always have a blast because it's just college kids just getting crazy. So it's a good gig for sure.
Yeah, that's the last time I played music with other people like next to me was our fiddle player Colin, and his son came out, and we had a deck jam with the kids. We played Sissy Strut and stuff like that, and then it was like that next Monday, everything was different all of a sudden.
I know it's something that you don't know like how much you're gonna miss it until something like, I mean, you know, obviously nothing like this has ever happened before, but playing with other people, like you just can't replace it with anything else, you know.
No,
I know we both kind of try to do some solo stuff and put up some tracks of, you know, playing individually, but you can't replace a band.
It's not the same. I've been doing like you did that cool Carry Me virtual, what would you call it, virtual jam?
Yeah, Carry Me virtually.
Yeah. And it turned out pretty good, and I've been working on some of those too. And those are kind of fun to do, but yeah, it's nothing like sitting in the same room and playing with other people.
No, it's just a cheap replacement, but I mean it's fun, and it occupies your time and your mind, and like gets the creative juices going into some direction.
Yep. I just did one today with Peter Madcat Ruth, played harmonica on it, so I'm mixing all those together. But it is a lot it takes like for a performance it would take 2 minutes to play the song. To do the video editing takes like 6 hours.
Yes. I would much rather just play.
Yeah, me too. All right, so in this show I basically ask musicians some set questions. I ask a lot of the same questions just to get interesting answers from different people and see how they differ. Are you ready for some questions?
Did my management agree to this format?
Yeah. No, and I took your manager up back and took care of him. So
you're supposed to say my wife.
Oh, my wife. That's right. So they're not too risque questions, but at least the answers might be. The questions might not be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and I'll mix some new questions up with the different musicians. Like I won't ask you, how much do you practice tabla each day? I won't ask you that.
Oh, well, the answer is obvious. It's all day, every day.
All right, so I'll just spit some of these quick ones off first, just for some fun answers, just to see what the answers might be. This first question has had some interesting answers for sure. I'm curious to see what your answer will be. What was your very first music concert you attended as a kid? Or maybe an adult, probably as a kid, though.
Yeah, I think other than just like local bands, you know, doing Battle of the Bands and stuff like that, the first actual concert I went to, I believe, was in the early 90s. It was the Spin Doctors
Yep.
with Soul Asylum.
Okay.
and Cracker, who I still really like the band Cracker quite a bit. But
yes,
yeah, that was a triple bill at Pine Knob.
Spin Doctors had some good tunes. Yeah. And
Well,
for
that
your kids,
hits, yeah,
yeah, for your kids out there, Pine Knob is now called DTE.
yeah.
Exciting.
We all still call it Pine Knob. I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
I do too.
we still throw all the sod from the lawn.
Yeah. Well, I've done 2 episodes so far, and so the first answer was Richard Marx, and the other one was I think Winger.
Oh, that was Adam, right?
Was
Okay.
it Winger? I think it was Winger. It was a band like that.
It was yeah, it was some sort of '80s cheese band for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Because I remember back, saw Skid Row and Poison and stuff back in those days.
Now I was probably like a sophomore or junior in high school before I was able to trek out on my own to a concert.
Yeah, yeah. I did go out. I think Slayer and Testament when I was 16 was the first one I drove to in my car.
I do I do have one memory from that concert, which was I was with a couple of friends, and it was the Spin Doctors. There was a big jam going on, and the guys in the row in front of us were passing around a joint,
Yeah.
which got passed to my buddy, and like he he hits the joint, and high school me, I'm not in that lane yet.
Yeah, good. That's been good.
And I was panicking a little bit, like, oh my god, my friend has smoked pot,
Yeah,
and now we have to get home. How are we going to do this?
Yes. Did you make it home?
We did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, somehow.
Oh, that's good. Yep.
I didn't touch it, Mom. I did.
You heard it. You heard it right here. He did not. He did not inhale.
I probably should have, but
Well, what was your last concert? The last concert, like you went to, not to perform, but to play it, or to see, not to play it, but to see. Sorry.
So I had concert tickets for a show on March 12th, which I actually thought was at the beginning of March, thought was still going to happen, which was Joe Russo's Almost Dead, which is a Grateful Dead tribute band, but they really kind of do an original take on the Grateful Dead music. But along the same lines, the last concert I saw was Fish back in December. I drove to Pittsburgh to see Fish.
Yeah, was that a good show?
It was amazing.
They still got it.
They still got it, and yeah, they just put out an album April 1st, which is kind of amazing if you think about Fish. And they release the album on April 1st, you think there's no way that's actually going to happen.
Yeah,
it would be some sort of gag, but they released an album that is perfect for the days that we're in right now. So cool. Even if you aren't a Fish fan, people out there, I say give this one a try. It's called Sigma Oasis.
Sigma Oasis. And where can they find that album, Andy?
Everywhere you find music.
All right, very cool. And I've seen a couple. I've seen maybe 5 or 6 Fish shows. Not as many as you. But it was always a good time. Always good music, and of course, good guitar playing for sure.
Yes, which is still the case. I think when you were seeing Fish back in the mid '90s, it was like Shredfest Trey.
Yes,
with all the really super fast playing, and he's slowed down over the years, but like gotten. I think he's a better musician.
Yeah.
Much more tasteful these days. But I love that '90s stuff too.
Yeah, I remember they were quite jammy for a long time, and then some of the albums were more straight ahead of rock. It seemed like, and then
they tend to like cut out the jams on the studio albums, but this one that I was just talking about has a couple of 10-minute plus songs on there.
Yeah.
So they actually really kind of replicated what they do live in the studio.
Yeah, that's tough to do. I think we've pulled it off on some of our albums fairly close, but it's never the same.
Yeah.
You always gets a little more rigid for sure.
Yeah, when you're in the studio, it's hard to get into that zone that you get into in a live setting, I think.
Yeah, you don't get the feedback from the audience. Well, yeah. I've played probably like 10 or 15 gigs with you. When,
10 or 1500.
yeah, we played quite a few gigs. So I don't know if when I played at you with one of these, but can you tell me about one of your worst gigs ever? If any
uh
stick out in your mind, like a worst time, or it could be just something that happened on the trip, or a bad crowd.
yeah, I mean, there's when you gig for however long that I've been doing it, 20, 25 years, something like that, you go through so many of those, like just ones where no one shows,
Yep.
so sometimes those are really fun because you're just like, well, who cares, there's no one here, we might as well entertain ourselves. But there's other ones that you're just struggling to get through. I don't know, worst gig ever.
Not the pirate gig, is it?
I think the pirate gig was okay.
It was okay. Yeah, it was. The other guys maybe were over dramatic about it. It was. It was. We got paid well for that one, so
Whenever you get paid, it's kind of
yeah,
hard to knock that.
yeah,
But no, I'm struggling because they all kind of blend together at a certain point, or you just try to forget them. But
yeah, yeah. Or you just maybe it's that you just have the attitude. Oh well, that happened. What am I going to do about it? Just focus on the next one, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And there are some gigs though I can remember walking away from going, why am I doing this?
yeah. It seemed to me like every time Back 40 played in Hamtramck, it was one of those.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like there was just never anybody there.
And Kalamazoo, I think we had some.
Yeah, we didn't really crack the
We
Kalamazoo
could not get a
thing.
good crowd there. Papa Pete's, we played some like we went there one time and it was a wedding that was already there. They double booked, so we just played for the wedding.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, and the
I do
guy,
remember that.
remember the guy who came up to you? He knew
No.
George Harrison. He knew one of the Beatles,
Okay.
and he goes, I can get you his big. I know George Harrison. I can talk to him." And this was after George had passed already.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's
anybody
like I got
told.
news. I got news for you, dude.
I mean, you can kind of tell it was not a correct story from the beginning, but okay. So what is one of your favorite gigs of all time that you've played?
Um, One that I really go to a lot in my head is when Back 40 played Hiawatha Music Festival. We did it a couple times, I think, but the second year that we did it was just one of those times where, um, like, we were gonna have a good set no matter what because we were just ready to play and we went out there. But then we had this crowd that occupied a tent. If you imagine like a medium-sized tent at a festival, but then the crowd kept on growing and growing and growing, and it was outside of the tent. And this, Hiawatha is a traditional music festival, as you know, uh, and so the main stage is pretty tame, very good music, but it's a very, you're sitting in your seat enjoying the music. But the stage that we played was the late night thing, and people were just losing their minds. It was like they had been listening to folk music all day, and then we went up there and played something a little bit more rocking, and people absolutely lost their minds.
Yes,
And we had family and friends there, and we just had a great time all weekend. It was just it was great. We felt like rock stars after we got off the stage. People were asking for autographs and
yeah,
everything.
and we sold out of all the CDs and T-shirts and stuff, pretty much. And I remember it being like we got on the stage, we started playing. Also, I was like, we played for a little bit, and we looked up, and all of a sudden, something just happened. It just kind of after the music played for a little bit, everybody just like a magnet came to the stage, and it happened kind of quickly. It seemed like,
Yeah,
and then it just got crazier and crazier.
and I think we just fed right off of that.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yep. That tent was full. It was just, I mean, full and then overflowing, and it was a huge tent. Yep, and we had never got booked back.
I think
Yep.
we rocked too hard.
Yeah, the what I heard was that too many people, because it was just higher energy. Too many people got pulled from the main stage, and that's their, that's their big deal. They're the main stage, so um, it happens. What is one of the songs right now or pieces of music right now you're most tired of performing?
um So the band I play in right now is Fangs and Twang.
Yeah,
We play.
tell us about them. Tell us about the genre.
Well, it's a concept band. It started out as a concept. Just we're gonna write all about monster themes, um, but most of the songs are gonna have a little bit of a country feel. So it's a mix of country rock with songs about monsters and cryptids and unknown creature type of things.
Yep.
So we've been writing songs for we've been at this for probably 5 years or so at this point, or maybe 6. Yeah. And all those songs I have not really gotten too old yet. So I think we definitely did stuff. I've done things in other bands where it's like, okay, we're gonna play that song every single gig, every single time, and it gets stale.
Yes.
But I don't know. I give tribute to my bandmates. Like we have a blast every time we go out there.
Yeah, you can tell, yeah, and it's definitely a fun band, and we'll put some links up and check it out, and we'll definitely be listening to some. In fact, I think now is a good time to take a short little break, and let's check out some music. Maybe we should check out some music by Fangs and Twang right now.
We can do that.
All right, we'll do that. All right, cool.
you. We're fans of twang.
All right, we are back with at the Ripke Studio guest musician feature. My first question for the second segment, Andy, is: do you have any Goldie Hawn stories?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Goldie Hawn. My first Goldie Hawn story is my wife's a big fan of the movie Overboard. With, I believe, Kurt Russell's in that too, right?
I think that's when they hooked up.
Her would-be husband and now husband.
Yep.
Let's see, what other Goldie Hawn stories do I have? I used to watch Laugh-In on Nick at Night reruns.
Okay, I'm glad you said Nick at Night reruns.
yeah, not the original. But what a babe, you know.
Okay.
And those like 60s go-go outfits. Whew.
Yep, I'll put one of those up here or here. I don't know. Maybe both. All right. Of course, that's a joke. I asked that because John had such a great Goldie Hawn story. He told me one night after I knew him for years, he just blasted the story out. Goldie Hawn kicked him out of their house. Like, you never told me that story before.
This was the Kurt Russell house as well, like when they were
together?
Okay.
Yeah, because he walked.
It would have to be with.
He saw picture frames and he thought they were just like they'd left the one from the store in there in the frame and they didn't put their picture in it yet. But I was like, no, that must be their house.
That's really them.
Okay, so guitarists tend to like their music gear. And I'll probably have some guitarists listening in. So do you have a favorite piece of music gear right now, or a cool piece of music gear, new piece of music gear, anything, a pedal?
God, it's ridiculous. I am like a total gearhead. So I am like, I'm never satisfied with the guitar rig. I'm always changing it, swapping stuff out, not because I'm unhappy, but just because I just like to experiment.
Yep.
So yeah, I have probably 30, 40 guitar pedals right now that I rotate through a couple of different boards. And I just got a pedal about a week ago made by Robert Keeley, who is an incredible maker of guitar pedals.
Yep.
Most people know his compression pedals and stuff like that, but it's called a Keeley Echoes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it models analog tape delay. So like the actual tape, reel-to-reel tape units that they originally used in the, I guess, 70s to get all those like Pink Floyd kind of modulated delays where it doesn't sound perfect like a digital delay, but it starts to distort or modulate a little bit in the repeats. This thing's awesome. So I've been doing that a lot.
I don't have a good delay pedal right now. I'm using a multi-board just for convenience, but the delay I'm not happy with it. So maybe I'll check that one out.
Yeah, I've actually gotten the habit of putting multiple delays on my board so I can set a tempo on one and then set another tempo that's like a dotted eighth where they kind of ping pong off of each other.
Oh, that's cool.
It's super fun just to mess with.
Now, are you running two speakers then?
Nope.
Good.
Not actually stereoed, but just like when you get the rhythm with two different delays at the same time, you can do some really cool stuff. Now, you can also sound like the Edge if you want to.
Yeah, he definitely uses the delay. Yeah. You're making some amp cabinets and amps, aren't you?
For a while, I got into building speaker cabinets. So I built 3 different speaker cabinets. Haven't actually tried to construct an amp yet. I'm too scared of messing with tubes and killing myself.
Yeah.
But I built a 210, a 112, and a 110 speaker cabinet.
Yeah, well, I know the cabinets are there in some of your videos, for most of them, right? You can see them in there, the recent ones, and they got some pretty cool grill or covers on them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the things I thought it would be cool to customize that part of it. So it's just buying different types of fabric and stretching it over the frame.
Yeah. So I'm as you're saying that, I'm sitting in a room and I'm looking at surrounded by gear and instruments. You can see the guitars behind me.
Yeah, it's an addiction, I mean, but there's so much cool stuff out there. Yeah.
That's one thing, as I've gone into it more, you play music, you play the guitar or whatever, and then you start learning about all these other things like software, if you learn recording, or electronics if you're learning gear and all this, the signal paths and all that. So there's never, you'll never run out of things to learn.
I think when it gets down to it, it's just like if you have gear that can inspire creativity in some way, then like that's how to use it.
Yeah.
You know, you try to avoid it just becoming a crutch, you know, for the sound effects or whatever, but actually get something. If it gets you to play more,
Yes.
then you know that's a great thing. So.
Oh, and I've seen that all the time with myself and students. Like I find a new effect, or I get a new effect unit, and I'll sit and play for 6 hours just enjoying sound.
Right.
It might not even be a song. I'm just enjoying the sound of that it's making. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
So can you tell me some of your main musical influences?
Well, I would say that I kind of I grew up in a pretty musical family. So we did, you know, my family had season tickets to the local opera house, which put on musicals all summer long. So, you know, I've probably seen every single musical in existence during my childhood. And I think that probably like definitely, you know, shook some things up in my brain. So like that's part of it. But then, you know, we're always singing silly songs amongst the family and stuff like that. My brother was you know, he majored in music and became a orchestra instructor and music teacher, and so it's just, you know, we have a pretty musical family. So I would say that was a pretty big influence on me. And then, you know, I got into rock and listened to mainly like rock music when I was a teenager and stuff like that. And then started to getting a little bit more into like the jam band kind of crowd, like mostly through Fish and the Grateful Dead. And once you get into that, then I think you start to discover all these other genres, because those bands tend to really like mix in and not, you know, it's not a blues band playing only blues. It's a band that can play blues and funk and bluegrass and country and all these other styles. And I think that kind of got me to expand my horizons. So
yeah,
kind of went from there.
Yeah. I'm more interested in music that does that too. I love blues, but if it's after like 4 or 5 songs, it wears on me a little bit if it's too much the same.
Yeah.
Now there's like Stevie Ray Vaughan. He could probably play for 12 hours and just still amaze me, but not anymore, but he could back in the day. In fact, I did see him play. Can you describe the perfect bandmate?
Perfect bandmate, you know, I think is on the musical end of things. I think it's someone that that is supportive in the way that they listen. They're listening and not just out there playing. So and then I think the experience in the bands that I've been in is that I've been friends with the people in the band. It's always about almost like friendship first and then the band second. And when that happens, like you're just in a good place.
Yeah.
So if you have that type of relationship where it's more than just the band dynamic, then I think that's usually a recipe for success, or at least for enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's really my thing. I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm not a professional musician in the sense where I'm like trying to make a living out of it. It's really about having fun and trying to do something creative. So yeah, anyone that I can do that with is the ideal bandmate.
Yeah. And the audiences can tell, like when people are having fun and they know it's a good group of folks that get along together, that energy definitely carries out. Speaking of that, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to listen to this awesome live performance featuring Mr. Andy Bennis.
All right.
Sweet Sassy Molassie. 1, 2, 3, 4. my Philly Cleveland tonight. Oh yeah, I headed out of Casey, gonna get my Philly Cleveland alright. At the risk of being crude, strive to elevate my mood in a place that's much more free on the shores of Lake Erie. Well, I headed out early on the boat off Old Luna Pier. We were fishing up early on a boat off Old Luna Pier. At the risk of blasphemy, goddamn walleye rose up from the sea, and they jumped into my boat, just like the scripture pages told. Mr. Dan Ripke on the guitar over there, give him a hand. A Mercury, come fill my soul. I ain't gonna swim in you no more. Mercury, come fill my soul. I ain't gonna swim in you no more. Ain't gonna swim in you no more. A Mercury, come fill my soul. Ain't gonna swim in you no more. I said I ain't gonna swim in you no more. Ain't gonna swim in you no more. Oh, Mercury, come fill my soul. Ain't gonna swim in you no more. I said I ain't gonna swim in you no more. No more. No more. No more. Three smokestacks in my throat, so ain't gonna swim in you no more. Fucking zebra mussels plague my shore. Ain't gonna swim in you no more. All the politicians they just ignore. Ain't gonna swim in you no more. Oh, Lake Erie, tell me what for. Ain't gonna swim in you no more. Well, it's back tips the landing by way of the Erie Canal. Oh yeah, we're headed back to Ipsy by way of the Erie Canal. At the risk of sinking the ship, I'll tie down my loose lips and we'll anchor them to this song. Let the message ripple on.
All right, we are back for another segment of Ripke Studios guest musician feature. My guest again today, Mr. Andy Bennis, a very good friend of mine who I played on the road with Back 40 for what, 12 years? About that long? 10 years maybe?
Yeah, definitely 10. Because we actually started that out as just you and I. It was the Back 40 duet.
Yep. Yep. I still have some of those flyers. I still have recordings. I have so many discs. I don't know if I'll ever listen to them. Someday when I'm like 70, maybe I'll just get them out. You got some there too, probably.
Yeah, I got like a spindle over here somewhere that's just a stack of CDs, like CDRs that we recorded.
Yeah. Well, so that leads me to my next question. I hear that you're getting older. How does that make you feel?
I'm okay with that. Because kids are stupid for the most part. I mean, let's face it.
Yep.
Look at those spring breakers out on the beach in Florida. No, I'm totally fine with getting older.
Yeah, me too. I asked that one that there was like an old talk show, and it was who's the guy from Saturday Night Live?
There's a few of them.
He's in the Adam Sandler movies, the short little guy.
Rob Schneider.
No, the other one. Anyway, he was on this show, and he goes, I have this joke about getting older, and the host goes,
Spade?
Nope.
Tim Meadows?
No, he's a little guy. I can't even describe him.
That's all right.
I can't believe I can't think of his name. Anyways, he said, so you know how the host sets him up for a joke? He goes, well, I have a joke about getting older, so however you can set me up. And the host goes, so I hear you're getting older.
Excellent question.
Okay, anyway.
You're really getting good at this, Dan. I mean, episode 3, it might as well be 3,000 right now.
Yes.
Watch out, Mark Maron.
Is he still doing his?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge Maron fan. He's over 1,000 episodes now, I think.
Yeah. Yep, he's got a good program. Oh, cool. This is a good question for you. What musical artist are you currently, even in lockdown, collaborating with? We talked about us doing a collaboration.
Yeah. So we've done a Back 40 thing. So my buddies in Fangs and Twang, we're doing the same thing, collaborating on songs and editing them together to do video. So we did one for a song called Part-Time Vampire, which is kind of our theme song almost. Yeah. So yeah, working with that. And then just working with myself.
Yeah.
I've been just doing some live jams here and there. Just when I feel it, I don't announce it. I just say, I'll be up in the loft, kind of playing a little bit, and just go live for a little bit. So you gotta do what you can do.
Yep. Do you have any? Actually, let me ask you this first. I'm curious because I don't know if I've ever really knew. When did you start learning music? Like, were there early lessons, or was it in school, or just from being in that with your family?
Yeah, I took piano lessons for a year or so at a pretty young age. The thing I think I found out is, even though I was maybe in band or like at least for a little while, and piano lessons or band or stuff like that, was I really liked just trying to figure things out by ear, and just really like hearing a melody and then going to the piano and trying to figure that out, or eventually going to the guitar and trying to figure that out. I never took lessons on any of the instruments that I play now, which I mainly play guitar and mandolin. I never took lessons on either of those, which is a good and a bad thing. I mean, obviously you can pick up so many things from taking professional lessons, which you're a teacher. If I would have taken a couple lessons for you, like there's things that I've discovered over the years, like maybe within the last couple of years, where I'm like, how come I never knew that?
Yeah.
Well, but it's because I was self-taught. I just figured things out as I went.
Well, I still counter that all the time. I mean, there's so many different genres and styles and little niches.
Well, and YouTube is so amazing for just the guitar instructors that put things out for free on YouTube is just like an endless resource that never existed when we were learning guitar.
No, and backing tracks, stuff to play along with.
Yeah.
You can go on YouTube and I can play with any style of music, any key, any tempo. And when I first started practicing, I had to record myself on a cassette tape strumming, and then that was my backing track. So I had to play like a chord for 5 minutes and then play with this
Oh yeah.
crappy tape recording.
Remember getting that first 4-track where you could like
Yep.
jam with yourself. It was just amazing.
Yep. I have one back here somewhere. I'll never use it again, but it's back there. Well, if you think about it, a lot of the musicians like I grew up that I was inspired by, or maybe even a generation before me. I mean, those guys learned and gals learned listening to records and learning by ear. So that was your teacher in a way, and that's a
Yeah.
good teacher. Yep.
I think it helps in its own way because I mean, when you're relying on your ears, that's a different skill set that I think you develop as opposed to just like reading something on a page and being able to replicate it.
Yep. And then if you're going to go to music school, you're going to have ear training. You're going to have that. And that was one thing actually I struggled with early. And I wish I'd spent more time doing that as opposed to the lesson sometimes, So, but do you have any advice for novice performing musicians who are just coming up, and once we get the lockdown out of the way, they can go. We all can go up perform again, and they're going to go up perform, but they haven't performed yet. They're just getting used to it. Any advice for them?
I think it's just to try to develop your own style and develop it with people that you enjoy making music with, because if you're not in at least in my experience, when you're not in a situation where you're enjoying the people that you're around, then like it's not going to lead to something really good unless you're a freaking genius and all you need is someone to play that guitar solo next to you. But
yeah,
in my experience, it's about collaborating with the people that are around you and bouncing off other people's ideas and making it better. So yeah, I would just say like don't get too tied up into what style you have to play and where you need to go. It's like develop your own thing and surround yourself with people that make you better and you enjoy being around.
Yeah, that sounds like good advice. And even from our own homes, I think we're continuing to do that, follow that advice ourselves. We're still collaborating with friends that we enjoy, talking to and being with.
Yeah, and I think it almost like kind of kicks you in the butt a little bit to like reach, it forces you to reach out and say, and like back 40, we play a gig every 6 months or a couple times a year, whatever it ends up doing. But like when this came around, one of the first things I thought is like, how can I get those guys involved and how can we like collaborate on something together, like in this situation. So try to find silver linings on the situation that we're in.
Yeah,
it definitely is kind of given me a little bit of a shove to like do some more creative things.
Yeah, and it has done the same for me too. I've done a lot more actually sitting down and going through not necessarily the playing with other people, but going through the process of collaborating and arranging music and actually doing the recording remotely together. Yeah, it's been fun doing that.
Yeah, and what you're doing right now too.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. This has been fun, and plus I've been so busy lately. I haven't been connecting with people as much as I should be. I just get take on a lot of projects, and I just get focused on those. So like Adam, I haven't seen in quite a while. So now I've just got to sit down and talk to him for an hour the other night, and I haven't seen in a while. We don't get to see each other regularly much. So I get to sit down and talk to you. And we actually, all our families got together the other night with all the kids on Zoom, which was a noise fest.
It's a train wreck.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Don't have 13, 14 kids on Zoom at the same time. Yeah. For the classes, they make all the kids mute that I've taught. Yeah. Then it works. I go, if you all mute, it works. Can you tell me what activities you like doing outside of music?
Sure. So I think I've you know, it's outside of, is it outside of music or not? I don't know, but like I've just started getting more into video, but like it links back to music again, because whether it's shooting the band that I'm playing in or just other bands that I know or I'm around, I've started to do like multi-cam video shoots
Yeah.
and edit, and then I've always loved recording shows. So
Yeah.
going back years and years and years and years ago, I've always tried to capture live performances. So live recording is definitely a passion of mine, just to try to get some of those things and then archive them.
Yeah.
And then I've started to add that video element in a little bit more lately. But yeah, I mean, as a you know, a dad of 2 kids and a husband and a full-time worker, there's not much time for much else. So
Yeah,
I try to
yeah.
put all my spare time into my family or into music.
Yep. And like all the things you just mentioned, all the video stuff, and going back to the archive music that you did, all the stuff for Back 40 that Andy did is amazing. The archive that he just, I can tell that you like doing it, because like going to the archive for Back 40, it's so organized. All the tracks are there, everything, and that stuff takes time to do. And I noticed with your YouTube channel, it had the same feel. Like it was very nice in order. Like you took good care of the project. And I should put those links up, because those are very cool to check out. And there's a lot of music there. Archives for all the bands you played with, and your YouTube page will definitely put those up.
Yeah,
I encourage people to subscribe. Well, I think that's probably good for this segment. We're gonna kick it off at the end here with one more cool live performance featuring Andy Bennis and his dear good friends that he likes to hang out and collaborate with. Well, I appreciate you joining me tonight. Anything else you want to say to the people before we go?
Stay strong, people.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
That's all I got left in this world. Half a tank of gas. That's all I got left in this world. On this 100-mile stretch, I got 99 left yet to go.
Down this highway full of dead souls, sucking life right from the skull. Down this highway full of dead souls, sucking life right from the skull. In that 78 van, I'm gonna go just as far as I can. Won't you please carry? I can't take this load no more. Won't you please carry? I don't think this life gets no harder. Down that Mississippi River, out to the Gulf of Mexico. Down that Mississippi River, out to the Gulf of Mexico. I'll be passed down the French Quarter by 6 a.m., don't you know?
Stumbling down the sidewalk, it's no way for a man to be. Drunk ass stumbling down the sidewalk, If I fall into the gutter, Lord, pick me up and carry me. Carry me. Won't you please carry me? I can't take this load no farther. Won't you please carry me? I don't think this life is no harder.
It's that dry heat in the desert. Oh, so I've been told. It's that dry heat in the desert, Lord. Oh, so I've been told. Moving further down that road, in a land so barren and
Las Vegas can make you a wealthy man with just an ace and a jack. They say Vegas can make you a wealthy man. It's just an ace and a jack. Well, if I roll out a rich man, I ain't ever coming back. Coming back. Won't you please carry me? I can't take this load no farther. Won't you please carry me? I don't think this life is no harder. I can't take this load no farther. I don't think this life gets no harder.
Sweet sassy molassie.